Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book, but just to explain why I'm not going to show the cover of it, but I'm going to show an inside cover, is that I ordered it from another library, so all my personal information is on this little piece of paper they stick on the front, and I don't want that all over the internet, so I'm just going to show you the inside cover of the book the entire time instead. So this is Victorian Working Women, Portraits from Life by Michael Hiley. This is an older book. I think this was printed in the 70s. 1979, so 1980, it looks like 1979, 1980, and I checked this book out thinking it was going to be primarily portraits of Victorian working women, as the little subtitle is, Portraits from Life. However, this book is mostly about an individual named, whose last name is Munby, let me get this name right, and Arthur Munby. So, like I said, this book I thought was more going to be portraits of Victorian women. However, it tended to be a lot about this individual named Arthur Munby. However, I really enjoyed it despite not being what it was about. So that's the first thing to know, is if looking at this book, you think it's going to be a lot of portraits, please keep in mind that it is quite a bit of text. There are plenty of portraits, but there's quite a bit of text as well. Just something about expectations to keep in mind. So the next thing to keep in mind is about Arthur Munby. So Arthur Munby had a preoccupation with working women of his time. He was a Victorian era man. He seemed to have a little bit of disposable income. He was not working class. At least he was able to kind of go around and do whatever he wanted with his free time, more or less. And that was mostly about observing working women. And women who were engaged in activities that I guess he liked. I don't know how else to describe it. He was a little bit of an odd individual in my opinion. He liked women who worked in like coal mining pits, or washerwomen, or fisherwomen, or like milkmaids. So women who were involved in very much involved in manual labor. He thought this was attractive, I guess, for lack of a better word, but he had a very odd preoccupation with them that as you read this book, you're going to discover. And I think other people around him at this time also found this was very, very odd. I believe at the very beginning they discussed that people thought that he maybe, I believe they said he was possibly a possible suspect for the Jack the Ripper, because he was a little too interested in them. But as far as they can tell, he just had he did not kill anybody. He just had a weird preoccupation with working women who worked in these particular professions. However, thanks to his weird preoccupation, us today in modern times have a very, very good insight into the lives of these women who otherwise would have probably been lost to the times of history, to the sands of time. I don't know how else to say that. So due to his preoccupation, we actually have a really good record of Victorian working women. And it's kind of thankful that there are people out there like him who seem to have a very odd but mostly harmless preoccupation with something that maybe the rest of us don't have. It kind of enables us to have this unique view on life, which I think is really, really interesting. I just feel like Munby was kind of a strange man as you read this book. This book is a little bit of the author's interpretation of what's going on. It's mixed in with a lot of diary entries from Arthur Munby. Arthur Munby kept a very clear diary where he went out and would interview and talk to a lot of these women. He also was interested in photography and trying to purchase photographs of these women, talking about their life, their daily routine, how they worked, and his thoughts about them. And it's really, really interesting. I have to say that. It is really like getting a glimpse into the day-to-day life of these women who otherwise you would not have a glimpse into the life of. I feel like it's women who normally would be forgotten. They're not royalty, they're not upper middle class, they're working women who are just going about their daily life. But thanks to the strange preoccupation from this man, we have an insight into it, and it's really, really interesting. So that's just to keep in mind, a lot more text than what you might think. It is quite a bit of text, as you can see, not entirely pictures, but the text is very enjoyable. So if you're looking for something that's more of a introduction to Victorian working women, as the title suggests, I really do suggest this book. It is a little dated. Maybe compare it or purchase with this book, or check out from the library with this book something that's more modern, just to get a little bit more modern scholarship or insight into some of the stuff that's going on. But I think this is a really good place to start, and if this is a topic that interests you, I wouldn't let the age date it, because a lot of it is just the journal entries, which are going to be the same just because they are so old. They're going to be the same if they reprinted them today. And the photography is really, really interesting. The photography that is included is really, really interesting as well. So I don't think that the dating should persuade you. I think you do need to know that it's not mostly photographs. It's just an insight into working women from the Victoria era's lives, or manual laborers who are women in the Victorian era from this one individual's perspective. But it was like an unexpected treat. I did not expect to be reading this, but I did read it and it was really enjoyable, and I do have to say I do recommend it. So if this seems interesting to you, or you have any sort of interest in anything that I'm saying, or if any of these women in the front look kind of interesting to you and you want to know about it, please check out this book, give it a read, let me know what you think about it. I personally found the section on female acrobats very, very interesting. So if that seems interesting to you, there's a whole chapter on female acrobats that you can read. But I do recommend this and think it was enjoyable. And it was like kind of a surprise read. Not what I expected, but enjoyable nonetheless. Let me know what you think about this book in the comments. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.